В ефірі, так? Доброго вечора, шановні члени конкурсної комісії.
I'm sorry for my voice. I'm still ill. Let's continue the 12th meeting of the Competition Commission taking administrative position in SAPO. I will remind you our agenda. The first item, interviews, after that approval of results on candidates corresponding to the third definition of the winner of the competition, 4 positions in SAPO and post miscellaneous. For our audience online, I would like to tell that this meeting is Koval, Busel, Bogdan Romanyuk, Gudzel, Thomas Firestone, Nolan Tsuria, Drago Kos, Roman Kubida, Vyacheslav Navotsky, and Sober, yes, Drago.
A word to interpreter. We can hardly hear the interpretation. Can you do something with your microphone?
Okay, I will just a moment.
Ну, до речі, і вчора, чи позавчора дуже погано було чути.
What about now?
Oh, it's fine.
Great.
Thank you.
Чути? Ще раз повторюю, на засіданні...
Once again, let me repeat on the meeting. There is Ekaterina Koval, Olena Busel, Andrei Gudzel, Roman Kubida, Vyacheslav Navotsky, Bogdan Romanyuk, Evgen Sobel, Thomas Firestone, Soria. It is for the position commission, the full composition. The first one, interviews with candidates. Second, approval of the interview results corresponding of candidates to the professional competence. The third, definition of the winner in the specialized anti-corruption prosecutor office. And the fourth, miscellaneous. After we closed the meeting, I sent a letter to GPO. I would like to read it to you one more time. Miss Venediktova, dear Irina Volodymyrovna, I'm going to read fast. Competition Commission for taking positions in SAPO would like to give you the respect and to inform that the last stage of the competitions was finished in SAPO. That was announced this year. It was a very hard way, but the commission was decent in it, thanks to the organization technical support of the employees of GPO. Notwithstanding the pressure, the members of the commission still, we could stick to the principles of unbiased independence, transparency, and legality. With the exception of the Commission of the Decision number 92 of 21st of December 2021 about approval of results of interviews, the candidates were defined with the highest scores, the ones who can be submitted to be appointed to the vacant administrative positions in SAPO. Such candidates for the position of the Deputy General Prosecutor, the head of SAPO, is Klimenko Alexander Vasilyevich and Senyuk Andrei Volodymyrovich. Out of content of provisions of the Part 2 of the Articles 8.1 of the Law of Ukrainian Prosecution Service, Part 2 of the Article 28 of the regulations of the Commission, approved by the decision of the Commission from 20th of January 2021, number 3, it is foreseen that the submittal of candidates, in this case Klimenko Alexander Senyuk Andrei, for the appointment shall be sent during 3 working days after Commission gets confirmation on these candidates' correspondence to the requirements of the law of Ukraine on purification of power, on corruption prevention, and also getting access to state secret according to the law of Ukraine about state secret. Thank you for the light. By the same provision of the regulation, it is defined that the receipt by the candidates of the approval of their correspondence to the requirements is provided by GPO. Commission is ready to give you, to send you submittal to appoint the candidates for the position of the head. At the same time, to make it as fast as possible, we would like to ask you to approve that the Klemenko and Senyuk correspond to the requirements of this laws of Ukraine. Also, we would like to tell you that this candidate already passed special check, and based on that of which the responsible person of GPO composed the required certificates. If in case of finding any kind of incorrespondence or impossibilities to receive the access to state security, we would like to ask you to tell immediately to the Commission. And all these procedures, issues, and termination of the contest in the future corresponds to all the expectations from the interested parties. So we sent this letter, and also we sent another letter with the request to the office of GPO Commission on filling the positions in SAPO. Would like to express its respect and inform that on 24th of December at 4 p.m. Commission planned another meeting where the key question of the competition definition of the winner will be defined. Based on all the scores of the competition and candidates selected for these vacations. Take into consideration the above mentioned and take into consideration the request of some members, I would like to ask you to take part in the meeting of the Commission. As you remember, Roman asked GPO to send its representative to our meeting on the 24th of December at 4 p.m. in the training center located at this address, representative of staff department and representative of the staff of GPO. So following Roman's request, I asked GPO to send us representative of the personal department. Still, we didn't get the response, and at the moment, the representative of GPO is not with us. I mean, department of the staff department. Also, I would like to inform you, and I think, colleagues, you've seen the translation. We received declaration of Mr. Klemenko to our email. If there is a need, I can read it to you. And we got a few statements from Mr. Klemenko. So now I'm reading the declaration of Mr. Klemenko to the head of the Competition Commission on taking positions in SAPO. According to the Article 23 of the Regulations of Selection Commission Work and Conduct of the Competition for Administrative Positions in SAPO, adopted by Decision number 3 of the Selection Commission on the Competition, according to the candidates who successfully passed the checks for general abilities, they should be subject of the special verification in line with the requirements of Article 56 of the Law of Ukraine on Preventing Corruption. And correspondingly, such approval was given. But also, according to the protocol number 8 of the meeting of the Commission for filling the vacant position in SAPO, you confirmed receipt of results of the special check with respect to all candidates who, as of then, had successfully passed the first two stages of the competition. Besides taking these results into consideration, the Commission admitted me to the following stage of the competition. Thus, as of today, the special check has been conducted with respect to me in line with requirements of Article 56 of the Law of Ukraine on Corruption Prevention within the framework of this competition, and its results are valid. Besides, in line with the requirement of Article 56 of the Law of Ukraine Corruption Prevention and provision of the regulations regarding persons competing for important to a special important position and positions with increased corruption risks adopted by resolution number 171 of the Cabinet of Ministers of Ukraine of 25th of March 2015. A candidate to the position with respect to whom the special check has already been conducted shall notify the respective body while being appointed following the procedure of transfer to the position to another public body, authorities of the Autonomous Republic of Crimea, local self-government body, and such body shall request information about its result following the established procedure. In line with clauses 17 and 19 of the above-mentioned procedure, information about results of special checks is confidential if they don't contain information constituting state secret, while the note on the result of the special check is attached to documents submitted by the candidate to the position or personal file in case a decision of her appointment to the position had been taken. Besides, in April of 2021, I handed over a properly certified copy of the notes on the results, but we have another date, the chairperson says. And it was given to HR employee of the Office of the Prosecutor General of General A. Ponomarenko. At the same time, on 21st of December 2021 at 12:49, Deputy Head of the Human Resources and Public Service Department of the Office of the Prosecutor General, Martemyanov, informed me by phone that my personal file contained no note about the results of the special check envisioned by the law of Ukraine on purification of power, and asked me to provide the copy of this note to GPO, which I did. Further, on 23rd of December, Head of the Human Resources Unit of GPO, Zaitseva, informed me by phone that it was necessary to conduct another special check within the framework of the competition for administrative position in SAPO. At first, Zaitseva said that a ground for the second check was an instruction of the management of the Office of the Prosecutor General, and then called me again and referred to the decision of Selection Commission on conduct of the competition for administrative position in SAPO. According to Zaitseva, in order to conduct the second special check, I would need to come to the office of to the GPO and submit a statement on consenting with its conduct. Besides, the head of human resources, Zaitseva, informed me that my personal file did not contain a copy of my military cards and copies of annexes to the higher education diploma that I had submitted simultaneously with the application for participation in the competition. Submission of the documents in line with Article 23 of the procedure of Selection Commission or filling position in SAP is mandatory for participation in the competition, and the Selection Commission denies a person admission to the competition if not all necessary documents set out by paragraph 3 of this article have been submitted. In view of the above, I am hereby asking you to inform me about legal grounds of another conduct of a special check with respect to me within the framework of the competition for administrative position in SAPO, with a reference to specific provisions of regulation, as well to provide a full list of lost by the Commission or employees of GPO documents from my personal file submitted by me personally for the participation in the competition or collected by the Commission. Besides, I'm asking to say who is responsible for storage of documents submitted by candidates for administrative position in SAPO, as well as to provide me with copies of the following documents: decision of the Commission on the conduct of a special check with respect to candidates for administrative positions in the SAPO, copy of the note on results of the special check conducted with respect to me within the framework of the competition for administrative position in the SAPO. Besides, today, at the email of the Commission, we received another declaration from Alexander. The requirements for special verification besides the article above mentions with explanation of corresponding issues by the NASP it was given. Please consider and process this explanation. And another statement from Alexander. No, it is a NASP response to Alexander's statements.
Якщо є необхідність, я зачитаю заяву.
If there is a need, I can read his statement to NASP.
Якщо є необхідність.
If there is a need to read it, no, there is no need. Navrotsky says, chairperson repeats, and also you have the response from NASP in English.
Національне агентство розглянуло ваше звернення.
National Agency on Corruption Prevention has considered your request for provision of explanation with respect to the necessity to conduct another special check of the person applying for the position. Well, I'm not going to read all of it, not to waste your time. Any comments, proposals?
Тому що ми не отримали поки що відповіді від
As we didn't receive yet the response from GPO according to the Article 8 of the law
відповідно до нашого порядку.
and according to our regulations.
Madam Chair,
Будь ласка, Драго.
Yes, Drago.
well, you don't have to read the whole letter from the NACP, but you can just read the conclusion. We have it, of course, but people who are watching us, they don't have it, and I think they deserve to know what is in the response of the Nazika. It's one sentence only. Basically, better you read it. The question was.
Я прочитаю два речення, Драго. У разі надання цієї
Let me read, Drago. In case of giving this approval, in case of such consent being granted and special check being conducted based on it, the legislation doesn't require granting of the aforementioned consent again. Respectively, there are no legal grounds for the second consent provision with a view to conducting the special check of the person applying for the administrative position in SAPO, as well as conduct of another special check. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to remind you that Mr. Klemenko sent us these statements and stating that he provided these documents when he applied for the competition and he gave consent for special check. And you probably remember that for a long time we were approving our regulations. After that, candidates were approved, were admitted to the first stage on the knowledge of legislation. And after the second stage,
повторно брали заяву
for the second time,
тих кандидатів, які пройшли другий етап.
we took the statements from the candidates before the second stage, before the special verification. At the time of sending materials for special check, all the terms were outdated already. Yeah, there is a statement of the candidate, and after that, we asked them to provide us another statement in our personal files. In the personal files of candidates, there were consent for special check 1 statement, and after the second stage, we asked candidates one more time to send us such statement. A special check without personal statement of the candidate cannot be started, and also it has some validity term. That's why we asked for another statement, and one more time, we attach them to our files. Regarding the certificates, now materials, I won't read them aloud.
Самі справи електронні.
And we also have this online file. The candidate is saying that he does have access to state secrets and certificate.
20, я не пам'ятаю, якого він там сказав. Часу.
Well, I don't remember. Let me see.
Довідка дійсна до 31 грудня 2021 року. Між тим, я не хочу зупинятися.
So the certificate is up to 21st of December 2021. Well, I would like, I don't want to waste your time because our quorum can disappear. That's Christmas Eve. Dear colleagues, I read you these addresses, these statements. Also in media, there is information that other candidate is planning to appeal our decision in the courts. Also, you can see the certificates in the materials, the ones scanned. Still, there is no response from GPO. Any proposals?
Будь ласка, Драго.
Yes, Drago.
Well, in the first letter you read, there was a part when you were referring to those checks and clearances, and I would just add at each of the clearances, I would add that we have received them already. That would be an addition at the end when you are inviting the Prosecutor General's office to tell you as soon as possible if the candidate will not receive the clearance for state secret. I would delete that part because the candidate has a clearance for the state secret. And if he will not get it after the existing one will expire, then of course it is not our problem. So we don't have to invite PGO to do their job.
Шановний Драго, ми отримали від кандидатів
Dear Drago, we received from the candidates the statements, annexes, materials for special checks. We send these materials for special checks. We have certificates signed by GPO that this special check has been made. All these materials, Drago, these are materials of our commission. All these materials, statements, annexes, all these are materials of our commission, right? But in GPO, they have their own documentation, their own materials, but these materials are ours, materials of the Competition Commission. And according to the law, Article 8, I won't refer to the regulations, but I would like to read you Article 8. It foresees that candidates for the position selected by the Selection Commission are given for submittal only after Commission gets confirmation of their correspondence to the laws about purification of power, corruption prevention, and access to state secret according to the law on the state secret. Who shall give us such approval? Shall I? Yes, Vyacheslav.
Шановні колеги,
Dear Madam Chairperson, dear colleagues, in Article 8, Part 1 on the law of Ukraine on prosecution service, there is such a provision, but I cannot see that they should do it for many times. That my interpretation of this provision that at the moment of submittal Commission should have corresponding documents, and we do have them, at least we did have them. No, so Bogdan Romanuk was trying to say something. According to the law, the second check is not foreseen, and in NASP response, we see the same response. They do not see the need for the second check. What's your proposal, Vyacheslav? Let's approve the results of the competition and to make the submittal to GPO. Without waiting response from GPO, right? We will provide a submittal without confirmation. Thank you. And we will be guided by the Article 8 on the law of Ukraine on prosecution service. Well, I'm not even going to put it on voting. There is a proposal from Mr. Navrotsky that we are not going to wait for response according to the Article 8 of the law of Ukraine on prosecution service and according to our regulation that after Competition Commission receives confirmation. I have a hope, and the statement of Klimenko himself tells us that GPO is working and they're making some check or they find out all these issues. So if the members of the Competition Commission insist that we should not expect the response from GPO, let's go to the next item on the agenda. Yes, Thomas.
Yes, I support Mr. Navratsky's proposal. We received the results of the access to state secrets check, as I understand, months ago. There's no need for a second check. We've done the examination. We have the scores. Let's confirm the scores and send it to the GPO. We cannot drag on like this any longer.
Томас, по порядку.
Thomas, according to the regulations, we approve the results
Зібрана кандидатура подається
and then the candidate is being submitted to the GPO after confirmation. And I do it without confirmation, right? I want to hear from you. Or after confirmation.
Я Томаса запитала, його думку.
I understand that we have received confirmation.
Томас,
Yeah, Thomas, one more time. We approve the results
конкурсу загальний рейтинг.
that's the general rating of the candidates. And after that, according to our regulation, the candidate selected by the competition commission is given to be considered by general prosecutor during 3 working days after commission gets confirmation that the candidate corresponds to the requirement of the law on purification of power and access to state secret. So today we will approve the result without addressing GPO, and we are sending the selected candidates to the office to be appointed, right?
Yeah, we have them already. Why would we wait for another confirmation? We have all of that ready. But I see Roman is asking for the floor for some time now.
Exactly.
Будь ласка, Роман.
В нас
Yes, Roman. We have a response from HR department of GPO, and that is the result of special check. And it includes all the issues you talked about, correspondence to the law on purification of power, access to the state secret. We do have this response as of today. I do not understand at all why we needed to address GPO on this issue once again, take into account that we have all the documents on every candidate and their personal files. Correspondingly, the confirmation that there are no obstacles to appoint those candidates we do have. What for do we need this bureaucratic delaying? I do not get it. Roman, at what date do we have this confirmation? You can open the materials, all the certificates. We have the explanations, official explanation from the authority competent to give such explanations. That second time within the same competition.
Написали відповідно
Yeah, we got that response from NASP according to one law. This certificate on special check was sent to us in April 2021. April 2021.
Я не знаю, чи можемо,
Also, this certificate was sent to us by the head of HR department at public service.
так само у нас є на Синюка,
And in this same way, we have them for Senyuk.
але ці довідки
But these certificates were given to us
організувати спеціальну перевірку.
in response to our demand to have special check. Competition Commission has the annexes, personal files, and also we have some questions on the deadline of the term of the validity terms of some certificates. If office of the GPO didn't provide it yet another certificate, and you think that we do not need to wait for it, let's just move forward. Well, you think that it's enough. We have certificates as of 16th of April 2021 and no other checks. And we should not get any other confirmations, right? Yes, as we have them already. how we will overcome this requirement? We shouldn't have to overcome. We have all the certificates according to the provisions of the articles. Well, you don't know how to read the law in a normal way. Vyacheslav insists that first we, according to the clause 5, we approve the result. After that, we go to the clause 6. After that, we are waiting for confirmation from GPO for appointment. Vyacheslav, I would like to hear from you. Article 5. We now can vote for that approval of the general rating. What about the 6th one? Shall we address GPO or not? Let's just execute what's written in the law on prosecution service. Yeah, that's exactly what we are doing. I've never seen anything like that before. 2 lawyers, 3 opinions. I understand that the time is pressure for each of us. If there is a request not to consider, let's move forward. Yes, Drago.
Madam Chair, what you're doing now is you're giving you're inviting the candidates who have not win to possibly file charges against us. So I have a proposal. This morning you send us a draft resolution, which is a good one. Not the one in the afternoon, the one in the morning, the short one. Can you read that one? Let's vote for it and let's send it. And that's it. So this is the shortest way out.
Дякую, Драго. Тоді ми переходимо
Thank you, Drago. Okay, let's just move on the agenda.
питання стоїть.
One more time. There is an item about the approval of results and ratings.
Якщо немає інших пропозицій,
Let me read it aloud if there are no any other proposals. So, decision draft that we voted for 2 times. Decision draft 21st, well, it is 24th already today. Competition Commission on filling administrative positions in SAPO in the presence of the members by Verkhovna Rada Koval, Busol, Gudzel, Navrotsky, and by the Council Prosecutor Tsotoria, Firestone, Kos, Kuibida, according to the regulations of the work of the Competition Commission, and taking the position from the 20th of January 2021, approved to confirm the following results of the winners of head and deputy Klimenko Alexander 246, Senyuk Andrei 226. Second, to approve the following results of the candidates for the head of the 5th department in SAPO, Savitsky Sergei 240, Klimenko Katerina 229. Third, to approve the following general rating of the candidates for the position in SAPO, Klimenko Alexander 1st place, Senyuk 2nd place. Also, to approve the general rating to taking the vacant position of the head of the 5th department in SAPO, Savitsky Sergei, Klimenko Katerina. To approve the candidate of Klimenko Alexander, selected according to the rating, to the position of deputy head of GPO, the head of SAPO, to approve the selected candidate Senyuk Andrei to the vacant position of deputy head of SAPO. 7th, to approve the candidate of Savitsky Sergei to the vacant position of the head of the 5th department. And 8, to publish this decision on the website of GPO.
проголосували на попередньому засіданні, 21 грудня. Воно
Because this is a decision that we voted on the 21st of December, but it didn't gain votes. I have sent an alternative draft resolution, and I will suggest it to the colleagues. I will read it. But before I read my draft, I would like us to discuss the situation. We suggest to approve Mr. Klemenko to the vacancy of Deputy Prosecutor General and Head of the SAPO, according to the rating. As for Mr. Senyuk, we propose to approve him as Deputy Head of the SAPO. We have several questions here related to the ratings because Klemenko, we have one rating, but we have two applications from Mr. Klemenko. He wrote that he wanted to be the head of the SAPO, Deputy Prosecutor General, and he also wrote a statement to be appointed as Deputy Head of the SAPO. So he has first place in the both ratings for Head of the SAPO and for Deputy Head of the SAPO. So what do we do with this? So Mr. Klemenko, he has first places in the both ratings. Do we need a statement from Mr. Klemenko that he doesn't want to be a Deputy Head of the SAPO? Please.
Well, I would suggest to use a little bit of common sense. It's obvious that Mr. Klemenko submitted both statements because he was interested also being the deputy head if he would not win to be the head. So now he has won to be the head, so he can be the head of SAPO. We don't need another statement from him that he doesn't want to be the deputy head, because otherwise we would have to appoint him as the head and as a deputy head, which would be crazy. So I think this is clear. He wanted to be either head or deputy head, depending on the results of the competition. The results of the competition are clear. He's the winner, so he's the head. So nothing to do here. Let's move forward.
I completely agree. Let's move forward.
Будь ласка, Роман.
Roman, please. Look, we have very clear information who we appoint as head of the SAPO and deputy head of the SAPO according to the scores and according to the ratings. Andrei Gudjal, we have two. Katerina Klemenko, he made statements. Andrei Gudjal, in the both cases, he is the person who has the first place according to the rating, as head of the SAPO and as deputy head of the SAPO. In the both competitions, he has the first place. So, well, of course, it depends where he will be selected. Katerina Koval, let us have time to think about this. I just wanted to point your attention to this. Before voting, I have an alternative draft resolution. I will explain why I have suggested this. A draft resolution number 93 in the edition of Ms. Koval, December 24, 2021, Commission for the Competition to fill administrative positions in the SAPO with the presence nominated by the Parliament Koval, Busol, Gudjal, Navrotsky, Romaniuk, Sobol, and nominated by the Council of the Prosecutors of Ukraine, Koibidakos, Tsotsoria, Firestone, by way of voting, being guided by parts 2 and 6, Article 8.1 of the Law of Ukraine on the Prosecution Service, having ensured organization and conduct on the competition with the principles of integrity, unbiased, independence, transparency, and legality, has resolved to approve the results of the anonymous testing for the legislation on the computers by the candidates to the vacancy of the head of the SAPO, Mr. Klemenko Alexander, 100 points, Senyuk Andrei, 83 points. Number 2, approve the results of anonymous testing for knowledge of legislation on the computers by the candidates to the vacancy of the head of the TS department, procedural guidance, support of the state in court of the SAPO. Savitsky Sergei, 94 points. Klemenko Katerina, 80 points. Number 3, approve the results of anonymous testing for general skills and abilities with the use of computers of the candidates who participate in the competition for vacancies of the head of the SAPO and deputy head of the SAPO. Klemenko Alexander, 112 points. Senyuk Andrei, 112 points. Number 4, to approve results of the anonymous testing for general skills and abilities with the use of computers for candidates competing for the head of the 5th department, procedural guidance, support of the state prosecution and representation in court of the SAPO. Savitsky Sergei, 116. Klemenko Katerina, 110 points. Number 5, to approve the results of the practical tasks by the candidates. I will not enumerate the scores. You can see the draft resolution. So we have for each candidate's scores by each commission members. So we have total scores for the practical tasks to check the professional practical skills are Klemenko Alexander, 18, Senyuk, 14, Klemenko Katerina, 21, Savitsky, 15. Number 6, to approve the results of interviews for candidates' correspondence to the criterion of professional competence. There is also commission members and candidates. We have each commission members scores for each candidate to confirm total scores as a result of interview for the criterion of professional competence with rounding up. Klemenko Katerina, 18, Savitsky, 15, Klemenko Alexander, 16, Mr. Senyuk, 20. To approve the results of the competition for vacancies of Deputy Prosecutor General and head of the Specialized Anti-Corruption Prosecutor Office and his head. Klemenko Alexander, 246, Senyuk Andrei, 229. Number 8, to approve the results of the competitions by the candidates to the head of the 5th Department for Procedural Guidance, support of the state prosecution and representation in court of the SAPO. Mr. Savitsky Sergei, 240, Klemenko Katerina, 229. Number 9, to approve the total rating of the candidates fulfilling vacancies of Deputy Prosecutor General, head of the Specialized Anti-Corruption Prosecution Office and his head. Klemenko Alexander, first place, Senyuk Andrei, second place. Number 10, to approve the total rating of candidates for the vacancy of head of the 5th Department of Procedural Guidance, support of the state prosecution and representation in court of the SAPO. Savitsky Sergei, first place, Klemenko Katerina, second place. Number 11, to approve the selected candidacy of Klemenko Alexander to the vacancy of Deputy Prosecutor General and head of the SAPO. Number 12, to approve the selected candidacy according to the rating of Mr. Senyuk Andrei to the vacancy of Deputy Head of the SAPO. Number 13, to approve the selected candidacy according to the rating of Mr. Savitsky Sergei to the vacancy of the head of the 5th Department for Procedural Guidance, support of the state prosecution and representation in court. Number 14, the candidacy of Klemenko Alexander, which has been selected by the Commission as the head of the SAPO, shall be submitted to the Prosecutor General for consideration. Number 15, candidates for the head of the SAPO and first deputy and his deputy shall be submitted to the Prosecutor General for appointment if the Selection Commission receives confirmation of their correspondence to the law on the cleansing of power, on prevention of corruption, and if they have access to the state secret according to the law. The selected candidates for each administrative position provided for by points 4 and 5 of the law of the Article 39 of the law of the Prosecutor General shall be submitted to the head of the SAPO for further appointment to administrative post. 17. Publish the decision of the official website of the Prosecutor General. I would also like to point your attention, dear colleagues, to the fact that I have made a reference in my resolution to the law to the law on the prosecution, having ensured organization and conduct of the competition with the principle of being independence, transparency, and unbiased, and according to the law on the prosecution service. And I insist that we approve the decision, the resolution, which includes all the stages. I didn't point your attention to the enumeration of the decisions. So I suggest to approve a well-balanced decision. It has all the stages. It includes all the stages, to approve the results of all the stages, to draw the line in the rating, to determine the winners, and to submit the candidacies to the office of the Prosecutor General with a new, with the condition that the Commission shall receive confirmation that they correspond to the requirements of the law. If you have any questions, I'm ready to answer. This is my personal draft. Please, Drago.
Well, I have to say that I like your personal draft from the morning much better. This one is extremely dangerous. You see, in points 1 to 6, we are once again listing the results of the previous rounds. And following what happened 2 days ago, I'm not sure that this will be approved by the majority of the Commission, which might mean the way you interpreting the rules, which might mean that we will be changing the results of, let's say, competition which has taken 1 year ago. So I suggest that we delete paragraphs 1 to 6. We start with the last one, which is 246 and I don't know how many points. Then on paragraph 15, we agreed before, that was my understanding, that we don't need any more confirmations from the Prosecutor General's office because we all have all the clearances available. Now, if you know already, you read I had to ask you to read the letter from the NACP saying that there is no provision which would enable us to have a second clearance from them. Meanwhile, if you take a look on your email, you will see that candidate Klemenko has provided the clearance to state secrets, which is valid until June or July 2023. So we do not need paragraph 15. Let's kick it out. So if we take out 1 to 6 and 15, I'm willing to support it. Otherwise, I would suggest to go back to the resolution which you sent us in the morning, which is much better, much more concise, much more simple, and much more shorter. And once again, Madam Chair, for some time I didn't know if you just don't know how to handle the rules, but now I'm sure now this is on purpose.
Пан Драго,
Mr. Drago, you understand we all have our own opinions. I would like to point your attention that in the draft resolution 93, we refer to the rules and regulations. In the preamble, I'm referring to the law. Right now, we can amend the regulations of the work of the Commission. We can name it not the regulations of the work of the Commission, but the procedure. Can we make an amendment and rename our regulations into procedures as it is required by the law and as it is required by the court? In the preamble, I refer only to the law. If I refer to the law, I understand that this resolution has to remain in force. We can have only one resolution by the Commission, that we have been informed, we have selected the chairperson, and then the resolution 93. We are determining the winner, we are confirming that the candidates passed all the stages, and we approve the results of all the stages. And this resolution can stand in all the court hearings.
Yeah, but if you will follow your reasoning, we will get ahead of SAPO after 2 years. And it will not be the one which we chosen to be the best one, but it will be the one which has been chosen by the politicians. So once again, if you delete paragraphs 1 to 6 and paragraph 15, I will vote for it. Otherwise, let's go to the one which you sent to us in the morning, The one in the morning is much better. Let's vote for that one. It is your proposal. I like it. So I don't know what's the problem now. Let's go and vote for that one.
Далі, коментар.
Then I will make only one answer. If the Prosecutor General's office said that they don't need the checks, they would have said us that the checks are not necessary. And it would be signed by the authorized person from the Prosecutor General's office. We believe that there is no need to do checks. But what if tomorrow the office of the prosecutor says that they need the check? I don't want to comment on this. This is a commission's resolution. We can vote on this. We can put it on vote. I have received the letters. If you believe that we don't need to consider this, we can move on. I will put the draft resolutions on vote. Andrei, at first, Andrei Gujal. Dear colleagues, unlike our colleagues from abroad, I'm a lawyer and I'm an expert in the national law. So, before evaluating our discussions here about the ratings, I will make references to the norms of law. As for the determining the ratings of Mr. Klemenko for position 1 and 2, according to our regulations, item 4, article 28, without refusal of the candidate to hold administrative position in the SAPO to which he is considered as selected, the next candidate shall be selected in this general rating. So before making statements, please read our regulations of work. In any case, before he makes a statement of refusal, we need to nominate him to the first and the second position. Secondly, the legislator has determined the necessity of confirmation from the Prosecutor General's office on the necessity of access to the state secret. As of today, the legislator has a clear list of the form of the access, and the position of the head of the SAPO can have another form of access to the state secret compared to the access of the first and the second candidates on their current positions. That's why the legislator says that they need a form of access. Maybe they will have a more extensive access than they have today. So if we have another position, if you want to have a result with a violation of law, you can have it, but I will not participate in this. I want to stick to the law. And before we get a relevant confirmation, I will not be making or approving the decision. Thank you. Please, Mr. Sobol. Thank you. Dear Commission members, back on Tuesday on the previous meeting, I was warning you that I would not be able to participate on Friday in the meeting. Today, I have received a notice after 12 o'clock. I'm on the road. I have made a stop on the road, and I'm hearing us talking again and again, discussing again and again the same thing that we have been discussing on Tuesday from 10 in the morning until 9 p.m. So whether we are waiting for the response or not, we should have a voting because we have different suggestions to add items, to remove items. We have been talking for 1 hour. I have to warn you that I can participate up to 10 more minutes and then I have to disconnect. I told about this on Tuesday that I wouldn't be able to participate on Friday, but I respect you. And for 1 hour, I'm staying on the road and I'm late for relevant meetings. Thank you. Thank you, Yevhen Yurievich. We are sorry. We have to respect each other because everybody has connected. We need to move on to voting. Please, Roman, please take into account that we can lose our quorum. Look, items 1 to 6 of your draft it repeats what we have already done in the past. So I believe there is no sense in them. Items 15, 16 just repeat the law, but we have to apply the law. So we have to submit the candidacy of Mr. Klemenko to the position of the head of the SAPO. We need to submit the candidacy of Mr. Senyuk to the position of the deputy head, which is not indicated for some reason. And Mr. Savitsky, candidacy of Mr. Savitsky, we need to submit Mr. Savitsky to the position of the head of the 5th department. Well, Katarina Koval, we need to submit. We have item 14 about Mr. Klemenko. As for Mr. Senyuk and Savitsky, it's not here. Yes, we can add some text. If necessary. Roman, please. As for the item 14, we need to add a correct name of the position, Deputy Prosecutor General and Head of the SAPO, as it is in item 9. Item 15, following wording, the candidacy of Mr. Senyuk, which was selected by the Selection Commission as the deputy head of the SAPO, shall be submitted for consideration to the head of the SAPO, who will subsequently submit the candidacy to the Prosecutor General. 16. The candidacy of Savitsky Serhiy, which was selected by the Selection Commission to the position of the head of the 5th department of the SAPO, shall be submitted for consideration to the head of the SAPO for subsequent appointment to the administrative position. So this is an application, an act of application of law, not the reference to the law. As for 15, you would like to remove the 15? No, I would like to amend item 15. It has to be about Mr. Senyuk. So you want to delete the item saying that the candidacies of the head of the SAPO and deputy head of the SAPO shall be submitted to the Prosecutor General for approval if the Commission receives confirmation that they comply with the laws of Ukraine. No, this is an item of law. It is evident. Andrei Gujal, dear colleagues, maybe you don't hear me, you don't want to hear me. Please pay attention. Part 4, Article 28 of our regulation, that we can appoint Mr. Senyuk and suggest Mr. Senyuk as deputy head only if the other candidate refuses, because we have a candidate who has the first place in the both ratings. We can't violate our regulations of work. I think that you construe the regulations in the wrong way. No, Mr. Romaniuk, we have the general rating. We have separate rating. Gujal, if the candidate refuses from the proposal to be appointed to the administrative position in the SAPO, for which he is considered to be selected as a result of the competition, the next candidate is considered to be selected for this position from the general rating. So we have Klemenko in the first and in the second rating. He is the first. He is on the first place in the both ratings. After completion of the interviews on the candidate's correspondence to the criterion of professional competence as a result of the competition, a general rating is formed for the candidates participating for the vacancies in the SAPO, provided for by items 1 to 3, part 3, article 39 of the prosecutor's office. The first in the rating, candidate who is the first in the rating, is considered to be selected for the highest vacancy. And the next persons in the rating are considered to be selected for the next positions in the SAPO. This is part 4, article 28 of our rules of procedure. This is very clearly regulated. I don't understand why are you asking this. Андрій Гуджал, he has to submit two statements. Katerina Koval, right now we are going to vote. Navratsky, I can also be present no more than 5 minutes. Andrei Gujal, there are different forms of access to the state secret for the detective and for the deputy prosecutor general. These are two different forms of access to the state secret. Because a deputy prosecutor general has to have another form of access. In this case, a new form can be organized if necessary. The legislator says after the confirmation is obtained. In 8 months, anything can happen. What if we give him Form 1? Look, during the meeting, we have received information that there is access for 7 years. It is in place. I think this is the highest form of access. We need to know specifically what the form of access is, because there are different forms of access. They are different, they have different authorities and different procedures. Have you heard? Deputy Minister said that he doesn't know what access is. Well, because you need to understand that people are watching us. I had all forms of access, and I know what that means. I have filled different questionnaires for different forms. I will quote the law on access to the state secret. If you don't understand, Olena Busol, we don't need to do this. Navrotsky, people who are present here can read the laws by themselves. When they were appointed to the commission, the understanding was that people can find laws and read them. Katerina Koval, we have done everything on our side. We have sent a letter to the office. We have asked the HR department representative to visit our meeting. Maybe they didn't have enough time to prepare an answer to us, because our meeting was quite unexpected upon the request of commission members. Navrotsky, Miss Katerina, I have only 2 minutes left. Katerina Koval, do you have any suggestions, dear colleagues?
I have a proposal.
Будь ласка, Драго.
Please, Drago.
For the document which you send out in the morning. Because I see that the one which you sent out in the afternoon, the long one will not get the support after so many criticisms. So the one from the morning, it might get the support. And let me remind you, you drafted it, so it's good. And why don't you want to, let's say, to offer your own document for voting?
Пан Драго, це
Mr. Drago, this is the resolution which did not gain enough votes 2 times during the previous meeting. This is the same resolution, because it was read aloud. We didn't have it in the written form.
Oh, it's not the same. The resolution which you sent was in the afternoon.
This is the same resolution that I read during the previous meeting. I was asking you continuously, let us prepare a draft resolution with the arguments, with legal consequences, so that it wouldn't be cancelled in court. And I suggested a very long draft with substantiation. I'm referring to the law in the preamble. I refer to all the stages, from the first one to the last one, because this is a very important resolution. We are improving the result despite of the resolution of the administrative court. We are approving the results of each stage. Each commission member confirms the results of the candidates. We are drawing a line for all the stages. We are approving the rating, and also we are making a proposal we are making a proposal to submit the documents not only for Klemenko, Senyuk and Savitsky as well to the Office of the Prosecutor General. We are submitting the documents for their consideration, and there is a question about appointment. I have prepared my resolution with relevant arguments, and I'm referring to the law.
І пропоную врахувати всі етапи,
I suggest to take into account all the stages, to state the ratings, to determine the winner, with the condition
Вицького
that the
до
selection
Офісу
commission approves the rating, selects the candidate, and I'm making a submission with the condition that we get a response from the PGO.
будь ласка, Драго.
Please, Drago.
Well, you as a lawyer, you would have to know that the longer the document, the more chances is that you will commit a mistake, and the more chances that somebody might, let's say, attack the document on the court. The shorter the document, less possibilities. But this is not what it's all about. What is all about? I speak this for the public watching us today. The point is that if we support your second resolution, the long one, with paragraph number 15, you make it conditional. So basically saying, well, we think that Mr. Klemenko would be a good one, but this is now to the Prosecutor General's office to decide if all the necessary materials will arrive. And we all know, since you don't like the candidate, that those materials will never arrive. And we will never get the head of SAPO, which we selected. This is the problem. You're making our decision conditional.
Драго, так це умова закону.
This is a condition provided by the law. That's why I have provided an extract from the law. This is a condition provided by the law. Roman was right. I just copied the law, extract from the law into the resolution.
Yeah, but you didn't hear Mr. Navrotsky, you didn't hear Mr. Rubin, you didn't hear me. That all the requirements which are requested by that provision of the law, we have them already. We just have to, if you want to keep paragraph 15, we just have to say we received, let's say, state secret clearance for that date. We received a clearance from the NACP on that date, so that will be fine. But now you're asking the Prosecutor General to do the same checks once again in the same procedure. And the way I know
Я не прошу провести перевірку, Драго.
I'm not asking to make the checks again. I'm just asking them for confirmation with a relevant signature of an authorized person from the Office of the Prosecutor General, confirming that today there are no contradictions on submitting documents on the candidates. I'm not asking to conduct checks once again. We have copies of the certificates. We have scanned copies and Xerox copies as of 2021. We have them in the selection commission. The Office of the Prosecutor General have their own procedures, checks. They may have some additional data. I'm asking the Office of the Prosecutor General to confirm. I'm asking them to provide a confirmation signed by the authorized persons, by Ms. Venediktova, Mr. Govda, or a relevant department, that the checks have been conducted. So please provide. They have the possibility to provide this answer. I was asking her to do it for today. Please, Drago.
Can you read paragraph 15 once again, please?
Роман, ми не будемо називати.
Roman, we will not be saying the number 15 or 16. I'm reading the point provided by the law. Candidates for the position of the head of the SAPO, his first deputy and deputy that have been selected by the selection commission shall be submitted for consideration to the Prosecutor General for appointment upon the condition that the commission receives confirmation that they correspond to the requirements of the law of Ukraine on the cleansing of power, on combating corruption, and also on obtaining the access to the state secret according to the law on the state secret. I'm referring to the law.
No,
Roman Koibida.
you're saying upon a condition which does not exist in the law, and we have received everything what your condition is now. Everything is there. You're inventing the text of the law.
Що ми отримали і коли, Драго?
So what have you received and when? Please respond. When did we receive the answer?
Отримали і коли? Ми отримали сьогодні.
What did we receive and when? So we have received a statement from Mr. Klemenko. We have received answers and annexes. I'm only asking the office of the Prosecutor General to say that the HR department of the office of the Prosecutor General
Має надати мені певну відповідь.
has to provide me an answer if you believe that it is sufficient. If you believe that it is sufficient to have the certificate on the results of the check from the April 16 of 2021, in order to make a submission to appoint Mr. Klemenko as head of the SAPO, and we don't need to abide by the law, we can move on to voting. I'm not insisting. As a chairperson, I have taken all the steps in order to send information, to obtain information, to ensure everything. And I invited representatives of the office of the Prosecutor General. Maybe they will provide an answer on Monday, because I only sent the request yesterday.
Дивіться, Драго, ми
Drago, look, we did not to vote on the resolution 93 in this part because there is no response from the office. In my resolution, item 15, I'm pointing out that commission members approve the rating, and I sign a document and I submit it. And this is a condition for me, not for you, not for the office of the Prosecutor General, that I will send the submission when I get the response. We are voting for the approval, we are approving the ratings, we appoint the winner, and in this resolution I'm making a condition for myself, as it is provided by the law. We can remove this item at all, but we need to abide by the law. At which stage do I have to ask the office of the Prosecutor General, according to the law and regulations, according to this clause, why there is a problem? There is no problem for the office to give us the response that they have already passed the checks and there are no... Stop, Drago, please.
Can you tell me, we received all those documents already. We didn't receive them from the candidates. We received them from the Prosecutor General's office, HR department. So we received them already. Why would we ask them again? Because we didn't receive those documents from the candidates directly.
Ми отримали ці довідки, Драго, на кандидатів, а не на переможців.
We received the certificates for candidates, not for the winners. Well,
What are we talking about? We received
This is-
certificates from the candidates, not from the winners. What are you talking about? The winners are still the candidates. They didn't lose the quality of candidates. Well,
Так, вже інший статус ми затверджуємо.
they have another status. We are approving the ratings and the candidacies and the winners, and we are expecting from the office of the Prosecutor General, we are expecting a response whether they correspond to the laws
Так, як це вимагає
as it is required by the law. Before making a submission to the office of the Prosecutor General, I need to receive confirmation that they correspond to the requirements of the law. I'm making a submission only after I have a response confirming that they correspond to the law. Maybe a criminal proceeding has been started yesterday against a candidate. I don't have this information. I'm not insisting on the special check. We don't need another check. But I insist that today, 3 days before the appointment, 3 days before I make a submission, I need the office of the Prosecutor General, HR department, I need them to give me a response. I don't know who exactly needs to do this from the office that there are no limitations. The checks have been passed, and there are no observations regarding the appointments. So this what I have written in my resolution. I would like to have a voting today to approve the rating, to determine the winner, but I make in a condition that I make in a submission after I get the responses. Why this is wrong? Why I use items from 1 to 6? Once again, I would like to point your attention to the fact that we still have a problem of the court resolution. If we appeal against the court resolution, and then the court resolution remains in force, and if our regulations are in doubt, I believe that we are not including the regulation, and we are acting based on the law. In this resolution, we are referring to the law, because our rules of procedure is only our procedure. So I'm referring to the law. We have evaluated all the stages. We have the results. We have the flashcards. We have answers, written works. We have, whether we have rules of procedure or not, the law states that we organize the competition. We have organized the competition. We have a resolution. Maybe this will be the only resolution that we will have to approve all the stages and to make all the conclusions and ratings. This is my suggestion, Roman, so that in 1 month, I don't know what the appellate court will decide, but our resolution, Drago says it has to be short. It has to correspond to the law. It has to be well-based by the law. It has to have legal consequences. So, for example, Resolution 63, 67, they have been made according to our rules of procedure. But now I suggest a resolution based on the law.
To avoid risks in case our regulations will be cancelled. Yes, Olena. Now we are just discussing. Probably Mr. Navrotsky will come. We do not have quorum at the moment. Olena, and after that we will wrap up something. Madam Chairperson, for 3 hours already we are discussing it. And I cannot see the end. Let's just announce the winner, in theory, honorably, as Mr. Guibida wants. And after that, we will settle all the technical issues. Because the society would like us to do it. And also we need to explain that Klimenko was selected. He is the first. Let's make a kind of ceremony, but with all these provisions. And if something wrong happens, well, what can we do? And another issue, what to do with the appeal submitted on the case, because it can be appealed, and what we will do then. Let's remember that it is an appeal, and the society is not going to excuse us. Let's find some kind of compromise. I would like to support Olena. Regarding Katerina's decision draft, 14, 15, 16, let's remember it will be an appeal, because it also will make all our job doubtful. Nothing will make our job doubtful. We have a regulation, and it will be valid till some ruling will become valid. Well, here there are 2 options minimum. Let's not be in a hurry. We don't know what the court will decide. And another issue. If there will be appeal, the decision will be cancelled after that. the procedure will be lengthy. So what are we selecting? Let's think about it. Dear colleagues, according to the Code of Administrative Judiciary, the normative legal act will be invalid after the decision that will admit it as invalid, but we will appoint the head and then might said that we need to start it from the very beginning. Our regulation is valid. It is used till the moment the ruling that will consider it invalid becomes valid. But we are working according to the regulations, right?
Ми працюємо по порядку, і зараз
We are
засідання.
working according to the regulations, and our meeting is it's going on according to the regulation. But in any case, no, I would like to support Olena. Here, let's find some compromise decision. It can be the decision of Mrs. Katerina, 1416. And she proposed lawful decision that she can make the submittal after she receives the paper. What's so complicated about it? Let me say, Bogdan, you're welcome. And again, I'm telling that I'm probably the youngest. I'm working at one and a half salary in the university, and I have time. I do not want to offend anyone, but I should, because we are being listened, and tomorrow there will be noise in media again. Starting from the candidate for the highest position, I voted from the very first stages. That's why I won't be blamed that I do what I was asked to do. But as a lawyer with more than 20 years of experience, theoretical and practical, I cannot avoid Article 8. According to it, well, I do not understand how you can interpret it in a different way. Or as you're saying, NASP told us this and that. Who are NASP? They have no right to interpret laws for us. Article 8. How we can interpret in a different way? That it will given for consideration only. I would like to underline this word only. After receipt by the Competition Commission, confirmation only, and confirmation. I would like to underline these two words. For the whole night we are talking that we have it. No, we do not have confirmation. Only after confirmation we can do it. That's the only one possible interpretation that might be, dear lawyers. If other lawyers are watching broadcast, they will mock at us. You're lawyers yourself, and you cannot interpret the rules after we come back to the votes that she should submit only after getting confirmation. How we can interpret it in any other way? But once again, we are going to some kind of looking for the enemies. I don't want to name who do I mean. And tomorrow we will see all that in the media. I supported all these candidates. I voted for them. And I gave those scores to Klimenko. No one can blame me. I'm against Klimenko. No. I also would like to run away from here, but I know that there is a commission meeting and I was in the office today and I came after work here as the youngest athlete out of all of you. According to the law, only after getting confirmation. And some people are saying that they don't understand what is access at all. Every category of employees have their own form of accesses. And you know, different people can have different accesses. Only after confirmation. And even if it was the day before yesterday, we need to require it one more time. Dear lawyers, what are you doing? She is the judge, she knows about it, that's why she keeps silent. I respect her for that. But you can see here only after confirmation. We just need to confirm it one more time. I was working from the very morning, and after that I came here to take a decision, and once again we are having the same problems. We want this conversation to be legal, not just habitual. You know, I was listening to you for the whole night. I'm not talking about the legal side of the problem. Just look at the Article 8. And they will look at it, and that will be right, and they will tell that the Commission violated the law. And this will be another confirmation. And what Mr. Gujal said, I just wanted to happen at last. Olena, then Drago. Olena, you want to finish, right? Well, I said everything already. I agree with Mr. Gujal. That's the only thing that I've heard today, convincing Drago, and let's finish it.
Let me remind you that we are sitting here today because of you. Because you, 2 days ago, you did not want to vote that 230 plus 16 is 246. This is the only reason why we're sitting here today. And we still came, although it's Christmas Eve here, which is the biggest family holiday in, let's say, in Christian world. And we're still here. We are willing to vote, but we are willing to vote on the winner of the competition, not on the conditional winner of the competition. And I have to say, before Ms. Busso's last word, I liked a lot what she said, because that would be a very simple way out. But now, of course, she changed it again, and now she's supporting Mr. Gujal. So I don't know what she means, but it's not important now anymore because we don't have a quorum. That's the problem now. We don't have a quorum anymore because Mr. Navrotsky and Mr.
А хто оспорює питання допуску до режиму?
But who was asking about the accesses?
No.
Who is judging them?
I'm supporting your proposal, previous one, 100%.
Я підтримую Гуджала в цьому питанні, в питанні
I support Gujal in this issue. On the access, I do support Gujal. That's it.
Шановні колеги,
Dear colleagues,
тому що нам не заважає це положення
you know, this provision doesn't bother us to approve the competition results.
в законі не зазначено про
In the law, still, there is not about confirmation of the competition results. That is the condition. Please read carefully one more time the article you just read. I propose to approve the competition results tonight according to the both decision drafts and after that move forward. In the law, now we do not want to approve the results of the competition, referring to a norm that it's not connected to the approval of the competition results. In other words, if to vote for Miss Katerina project, let's just eliminate all the issues connected to the submittal, just to approve competition results, that's it. But how you imagine that if we have no quorum anymore? Well, we will have quorum back at 6:30. Navrotsky told us beforehand that he will be absent for an hour. He'll come back at 6:30. And what about Sobol? Sobol said he cannot come back. Roman, there is a danger that after that it will be the same. We will sit here till midnight. You know, tonight I also was not supposed to be here because I came. I had trial from the morning. Now I have a birthday of my friend, and second, I'm sitting here with a high pressure. You know, I'm sick and tired of this kind of discussion that's not legal. Let's just approve it, that's it. Well, you know, I'm not ready to sit here till the night. I cannot agree on it. I'm worried for Ukrainian prestige. I'm worried for ambassadors who are not happy about our activity. I'm living here. Well, what are the proposals? Let's just approve it. Olena, I cannot hear you. I'm sorry. I'm suggesting to talk to the society that each member are for the candidate selected. Because, you know, it looks like that we're against. We are not. We came to this stage because we were working honestly and legally. That's why we got these candidates in the final. We would never have these candidates in the final if someone of us would be biased. That's why I think let's celebrate it somehow. I recognize myself. Yeah, I have my own opinion, but I admit that the winner should not be judged. Yes, Thomas.
Yes, I see everybody's getting impatient. That's understandable. I support Ms. Bussel's proposal to confirm the results of the contest. This is what we discussed the other day and what we tried to vote on the other day. If Navrotsky will really be back in 30 minutes, I would suggest that we reconvene in 30 minutes and vote then. If he's not here, then I think we should end for the day because we don't have a quorum. My concern is that if we don't vote today, then we're going to have to put it off again and again and again, and we're getting into the holidays and we're not going to have a quorum. So if we can wait 30, I would propose take a 30-minute break. If Navrotsky is here at 6:30 Kiev time, let's vote for the resolution approving the results of the contest then, and we can deal with the procedural details later.
Олена Юрівна, ви можете залишатися в
Olena,
засіданні?
can you stay till 6:30? Well, in theory, I can. But still, you know, I need to put extra efforts as usual. Let's have 30 minutes break. Every time the same, Olena says.
Yeah, I would support the proposal, but let's say
Немає.
I would support the proposal. Let's after 30 minutes, if Mr. Rossi will be back, we make one attempt, and if he doesn't make it, then we quit because we all have things to do.
Agreed.
Хвилин перерва, зупиніть.
30 minutes break, stop the broadcasting, please.
And Can someone contact Mr. Navrotsky? I don't know who's in touch with him to tell him that we need him back in 30 minutes.
Таким чином, колеги, ми переходимо до
Colleagues,
голосування. Так? Якщо немає заперечень, застережень,
let's start voting if there are no comments,
про те, що відповіді ми
observations, questions. So we discussed that still we didn't get response, but it doesn't bother us to start voting.
колеги, наполягання, я ще раз зачитаю.
If you insist, I can read to you decision 93 from December 24 in the wording that I sent in the morning, the one that was prepared for the 21st, the brief one, as Drago calls it. So is there is a suggestion to call for this decision, Drago?
Ви чуєте?
Yes, you can read it once again, but I think it's a good one.
Ще раз читати? Читаю.
Shall I read one more time or no need?
Пропоную проект рішення.
One more time, I propose a decision draft number 93. So we have resolution 93 that was proposed by the working group during the last meeting. There is another resolution proposed by Drago, let's call it this way, brief resolution,
Тому що в нас немає автора цього рішення.
because we do not have the author of this resolution number 93.
Ви пропонуєте за нього голосувати.
So you're suggesting to vote for it, right? 93, brief one. I'm reading it. The Selection Commission for Conduct of the Competition for Field Administrative Position in SAPO in the presence of its member. Dear colleagues, there is a brief resolution. There is a resolution proposed by Koval, and there is a third one with the suggestions of Mr. Kubida. We have three versions. First one. So the Selection Commission for Conduct of the Competition for Field Administrative Positions in the SAPO in the presence of its member nominated by the Верховна Rada of Ukraine, Koval, Busel, Gudzel, Navrotsky, Romaniuk, Sobol, nominated by the Council of Prosecutors of Ukraine, Kubida, Kost, Tsotsoryev, without Sobol, I'm sorry, by voting guided by parts 2 and 6 of Article 821 to the law of Ukraine and by the regulations
Затвердженого рішенням комісії номер 2 від
resolved by the decision of the Commission. Result first, to approve the following results of the competition of the candidate for the positions of the deputy head of GPO, head of SAPO, Klemenko Alexander, 242, Snyuk Andrei, 224. Second, to approve the candidates for the head of the fees department, Savitsky, 240 points, Klemenko Katrin, 229. So, to approve the general rating of candidates for vacant positions of the Deputy Prosecutor General, Head of Special Anti-Corruption Prosecutor Office, Alexander Klemenko, first place, Andriy Senyuk, second place. Fourth, Olena, are you with us?
Олена Юрівна.
Olena. Well, she will come back, but I'm reading the resolution.
Олена Юрівна, з вами
Олена. Olena, can you hear us?
Олена Юрівна, ви чуєте нас?
Да, я чую, конечно.
Да-да-да.
Yes, I
Четверте.
can hear you. Fourth, then.
Затвердити наступний загальний рейтинг кандидатів на заняття
to approve the general rating of candidates for the accountable position of the head of the fifth department of procedural management, support of public prosecution, and representation in the court of SAPO, Savitsky Sergei, first place, Klimenko Katerina, second place. Fifth, to approve the candidate select according to the rating, Klimenko Alexander, to the vacant position Deputy Prosecutor General, head of SAPO. Sixth, to approve the candidate selected according to the rating, Sinyuk Andrei, to the vacant position Deputy Head of the SAPO. Seven, to approve the candidate selected according to the rating, Savitsky Sergei, to the vacant position of the head of the fifth department of the Directorate for Procedural Management, prosecution on behalf of the state and the representation of the state in the court of the SAPO. 8, to publish the resolution on the website of GPO. Show of hands, please. Who is for this resolution?
З обмовками. Як і домовлялися.
But with remarks, as we agreed. Olena, one more time. I would like to remind you. First one, brief, without any remark. Second, Koval's resolution. And third one, resolution number 3 with Kuibida remarks. Now we are voting for the brief resolution. There was a Drago proposal to put it on voting. Nona, Roman, Thomas, Drago, Busalk voted, the decision not taken. Let's ask Vyacheslav. Yes, Vyacheslav, I'm sorry, I forgot.
Він нас не чує, напевно.
Probably he cannot hear us.
Немає на зв'язку його.
Vyacheslav is not connected.
Може, ви наберіть, я бачу,
Maybe you can call him
цей під'єднаний. Ось
because
він
he is connected. Maybe he has some problems with sound, with video. Because he is in the train, he is not going to have a good connection. Vyacheslav, can you hear us? Yes, I'm for.
Ви за.
I'm
Я
for.
зрозуміла.
Okay, you're for. Thank you.
Дякую. Далі я буду читати слідуюче рішення.
Okay, next decision.
Дякую.
Thank you.
Пан Навроцький за.
Mr. Navrotsky for.
Може вам залишити мій телефон?
Maybe you can stay on the line with me. I can hear you here.
Рішення не прийнято.
Decision not taken.
Рішення в редакції.
Okay, now I'm reading the decision. Koval's wording number 93. December 21st, 2021, the Selection Commission for Conduct of the Competition for filling administrative position in the SAPO, in the presence of its member, nominated by the Verkhovna Rada of Ukraine, Koval, Busal, Gudzel, Navrotsky, Romaniuk, nominated by the Council of Prosecutors of Ukraine, Kuibida, Kostotsori, Firestone, by voting guided by Part 2 and 6 of Article 8.1 of the Law of Ukraine on the Prosecutor's Office, having ensured the organization and conduct of the competition of the principles integrity, impartiality, independence, transparency, and legality, resolved to approve the results of anonymous testing of knowledge of the legislation with the use of computer technologies by candidates for vacant positions of Deputy Prosecutor General, head of the SAPO. Klimenko Alexander, 100 points. Sinyuk Andrei, 83 points. Second, to approve the results of anonymous testing for knowledge of the legislation with the use of computer technologies by candidates for the vacant position of the head of the fifth department of procedural management, support of public prosecution and representation in court of the SAPO. Savitsky Sergei, 94 points. Klimenko Katerina, 80 points. Third, to approve the results of anonymous testing for general abilities and skills with the use of computer technologies of candidates participating in the competition for vacant positions of Deputy Prosecutor General, head of the SAPO, and Deputy Head of the Special of the SAPO, Klimenko Alexander, 112 points, Sinyuk Andrei, 112 points. To approve the results of anonymous testing for knowledge of the legislation with the use of computer technologies by candidates participating in the competition for the vacant position of the head of the fifth department of procedural management, support of public prosecution and representation in court of the SAPO. Savitsky Sergei, 116 points. Klimenko Katerina, 110 points. Fifth, to approve the following results of the candidates' practical tasks. Candidates Коваль, Бусел, Гуджел, Кос, Куйбіда, Навроцький, Романюк, Цоцорія gave their points to Клименко O, Андрій Синюк, Клименко K, Савіцький S. 162 for Клименко, Синюк 121.5, Клименко 187.5, Savitsky 135. Total scores for completing the block of practical assignment to verify candidates' possession of professional practical skills abilities are as follows. Клименко Alexander 18, Senyuk 14, Klimenko Katerina 21, Savitsky 15. To approve the results of interviews regarding candidates' compliance with the criterion of professional competence, again, the members of the competition commission, Klimenko Katerina 178, Savitsky Sergei 142, Klimenko Alexander 151, Senyuk Andriy 200. The general assessment based on the results of the candidate's interview and compliance with the criterion of professional competence with rounding up. Klimenko Katerina 18, Savitsky Sergei 15, Klimenko Alexandra 16, Senyuk 20. To approve the results of the competition for candidates to fill vacant position of the head of SAPO and his deputy, Klimenko Alexander 246, Senyuk Andriy 229. 8. To approve the results of competition by candidates for the vacant position of the head of the Fifth Department for Procedural Management, Support of Public Prosecution, and Representation in the Court of the SAPO, Savitsky Sergei 240, Klimenko Katerina 229. 9. To approve the general rating of candidates for vacant positions of the Deputy Prosecutor General, head of the SAPO, his deputy Alexander Klimenko first place, Andriy Senyuk second place. 10. To approve the general rating of candidates for the vacant position of the head of the Fifth Department of Procedural Management, Support of Public Prosecution, and Representation in Court of the SAPO. Savitsky Sergei first place, Klimenko Katerina second place. 11. To approve the candidate selected according to the rating Klimenko Alexander to the vacant position of Deputy Prosecutor General, head of the SAPO. 12. To approve the candidate selected according to the rating Senyuk Andriy to the vacant position of Deputy Head of the Specialized Anti-Corruption Prosecutor's Office. 13. To approve the candidate selected according to the rating Savitsky Sergei Mykolaievich to the vacant position of the Head of the Fifth Department of the Directorate for Procedural Management, Prosecution on behalf of the State and Representation of the State in Court of the SAPO. 14. To submit the candidacy of Klimenko Alexander selected by Selection Commission to the position of the head of the SAPO to the Prosecutor General for consideration. 15. Candidates for the position of the head of the SAPO, his first deputy, and deputy selected by Selection Commission shall be submitted to the Prosecutor General's consideration for appointment, provided that the Selection Commission receive confirmation of their compliance with the laws of Ukraine on purification of power and on corruption prevention, as well as on obtaining access to state secret in accordance with the law of Ukraine on the state secret. 16. To submit the candidate selected by the Selection Commission for each of the administrative positions envisioned by paragraph 4 and 5 of clause 3 of Article 39 of the law of Ukraine on the prosecution service for consideration of the head of the SAPO for subsequent appointment to the administrative position. 17. To publish the approved resolution on the official website on the Office of Prosecutor General. That is the Koval draft. Show of hands, please.
2 голоси за, Коваль і Романюк.
2 voices for Koval and Romaniuk. Thank you. Another one with the proposals given by Mr. Roman Kubida.
Я зачитую весь текст, чи тільки ті...
Shall I read the whole text or what Roman is suggesting? Just what Roman is suggesting. Roman, so you are suggesting... Well, let me read for the protocol once again. And you will say what we are changing. No, could you... No, my internet is unstable. I'm afraid I won't be able to hear. Okay, let me read this resolution draft proposed. by Коваль and Кубіда.
Комісія з проведення конкурсу на заняття вакантних посад, адміністративних посад.
Selection Commission for conduct of the competition for filling administrative positions in SAPO in the presence of its member nominated by the Верховна Рада Коваль, Бусель, Куджел, Навроцький, Романюк, nominated by the Council of Prosecutors of Ukraine, Куйбіда, Кост, Цуцорія, Firestone, by voting guided by Article 8.1 of the Law of Ukraine on the Prosecutor's Office, having ensured the organization and conduct of the competition of the principles of integrity, impartiality, independence, transparency, and legality. Resolved to approve the results of anonymous testing of knowledge of the legislation with the use of computer technologies by candidate for vacant positions of Deputy Prosecutor General Head of the SAPO. Клименко Alexander, 100 points. Синюк Андрій, 83 points. 2. To approve the results of anonymous testing for knowledge of the legislation with the use of computer technologies by candidates for the vacant position of the Head of the 5th Department of Procedural Management, Support of Public Prosecution, Representation in the Court of the SAPO. Savitsky Sergei, 94 points. Klemenko Katerina, 80 points. 3. To approve the results of anonymous testing for general abilities and skills with the use of computer technologies of candidates participating in the competition for vacant positions of Deputy Prosecutor General, Head of the SAPO, and Deputy Head of the SAPO. Клименко Alexander, 112 points. Синюк Андрій, 112 points. 4. To approve the results of anonymous testing for knowledge of the legislation with the use of computer technologies by candidates participating in the competition for the vacant position of the Head of the 5th Department of Procedural Management, Support of Public Prosecution, and Representation in Court of the SAPO. Savitsky Sergei, 116 points. Klemenko Katerina, 110 points. 5. To approve the following results of the candidates' practical tasks. Members of the Commission, candidates, the sum of the candidate ratings 162, 121, 187, 135. Total scores for completing the block of practical assignments to verify candidates' possession of professional practical skills and abilities are the following. Клименко Alexander, 18, Синюк, 14, Клименко Katerina, 24, Savitsky, 15, 6, to approve the results of interview regarding candidates' compliance with the criterion of professional competence. Members of the commissions, candidates, total of all candidates' scores. The general assessments based on the result of candidates' interviews on compliance with the criterion of professional competence with rounding are the following. 7. To approve the results of the competition for candidates to fill vacant positions of Deputy Prosecutor General, Head of the SAPO. Klemenko Alexander, 246, Синюк Андрій, 229. 8. To approve the results of competition by candidates for the vacant position of the Head of the 5th Department of Procedural Management, Support of Public Prosecution, Representation in the Court of the SAPO. Savitsky Sergei, 240, Klemenko Katerina, 229. 9. To approve the general rating of candidates for vacant positions of the Deputy Prosecutor General, Head of the SAPO, his deputy, Alexander Klemenko, first place, Andriy Siniuk, second place. 10. To approve the general rating of candidates for the vacant position of the Head of the 5th Department of Procedural Management, Support of Public Prosecution, and Representation in Court of the SAPO, Savitsky Sergei, first place, Klemenko Katerina, second place. 11. To approve the candidates selected according to the rating, Klemenko Alexander, to the vacant position of Deputy Prosecutor General, Head of the SAPO. 12. To approve the candidates selected according to the rating, Синюк Андрій, to the vacant position of Deputy Head of the SAPO. 13. To approve the candidates selected according to the rating, Savitsky Sergei, to the vacant position of the Head of the 5th Department of the Directorate for Procedural Management Prosecution on behalf of the state and representation of the state in the Court of the SAPO. 14. To submit the candidacy of Klemenko Alexander selected by the Selection Commission to the position of the Head of the SAPO to the Prosecutor General for consideration. Then, Roman suggests to use the following wording for items 15, 16, 15. The candidacy of Andriy Siniuk selected by the Selection Commission for the position of Deputy Head of the SAPO shall be submitted to the Head of the SAPO, who shall submit the nomination to the Prosecutor General for further appointment to the administrative office. 16. The candidacy of Sergei Savitsky selected by Selection Commission for the position of the head of the 5th Department of Procedural Management, Support of Public Prosecution and Representation in the Court of the SAPO should be submitted to the head of the SAPO for appointment to the administrative position.
Пан Роман пропонує в моїй редакції
Roman suggests in my wording to exclude clauses 14 to 16. Roman, could you please specify the candidacy of Senyuk selected? Shall we give it for the consideration of the head of SAPO, who will provide it for consideration by General Prosecutor, right?
генерального прокурора для подальшого призначення на він уже у нас.
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah, and after that he will submit it. Not to be confused.
Це передбачено законом. І, будь ласка, ще
It is provided by the law and also in the clause 14.
посада називається заступник генерального
It is called deputy head
антикорупційної прокуратури.
of the General Prosecutor Office, the head of the Specialist Anti-Corruption Prosecutor Office.
Дякую. На посаду заступника
Thank you
генерального прокурора керівника
for the position of deputy head of the SAPO.
15,
Okay, without clause 15
як було в
and
редакції
16, how it was in the
Залишається.
previous wording. By 17th will be the same. Yes, to publish the resolution on the website of GPO.
Ні, вона там є, вона чекається, ми
Де
її
вона
не
є?
чекаємо.
No, it is there.
Роман, ви ж виключаєте 15 пункт?
Roman, shall you exclude the clause 15? It is Article 8 on the prosecution service.
Вона в законі є, ніхто ж не заперечує її існування.
Роман,
But it is in the law. So it can be submitted wherever wanted. Roman, as there are different points of view, let's vote for yours and after that to go to other proposals if you don't mind. Let's change it a bit, these clauses 15, 6. Ой.
І коротко буде.
пропоную, колеги, давайте, щоб ми в такому випадку, якщо є
So, dear colleagues, if we have suggestion to vote for the addition of Ms. Koval and Mr. Koibida, taking into account items 14, 16 that I have read, but without item 15 of my addition, please vote.
Андрау хоче сказати, чи голосує?
За своє рішення.
Роман, ви не голосуєте за проект?
Man, do you vote?
Я проголосував вже, я за.
Ви
If you
за?
voted already, I am in favor. Mr. Navrotsky, Drago in favor, Thomas in favor, Nona in favor.
Рішення не прийнято.
Not approved.
В редакції, яку я тільки що зачитала,
I suggest the addition that I have read with suggestion of Mr. Roman, but with items 15 and 16 in the addition of Ms. Koval. Roman Koibida, I'm sorry,
Пані Катерина,
Ms. Katerina.
ще одна була пропозиція.
I had another suggestion to remove
Тільки вилучити пункти 14.
your addition, but without items 14, 15, and 16. As I see, we have a discussion regarding the submission. We can remove it, but I don't believe that we disagree on the issue of the approval of the results of the competition. I suggest to approve the results. Why you have not supported my suggestion, my addition?
Я підтримую
I
вашу редакцію.
I support your addition, but
Там не вистачає по двох кандидатах.
we miss the items on two candidates if we talk about the submission. But right now, as I understand, we have a disputable question on the submission. Let us remove it and let us fulfill our function to approve the results. Katerina Koval, you suggest to remove them. We suggest to leave them I don't understand what the problem is when we are approving. I have provided details for this item. Candidates for the position of the head of the SAPO, first deputy and deputy selected by the Competition Commission. I will make a submission for consideration of the Prosecutor General for their appointment upon the condition that the Commission receives confirmation. As soon as I receive a response that they have passed the special checks, I will make a submission. As soon as I get the confirmation that they comply with the law on cleansing of power, on prevention of corruption, and about their access to the state secret. What is wrong with that? Drago, please.
Well, I will tell you what is wrong. You know very well that you will never get those confirmations once again, because the NACP, the NAZK, has said very clearly today that there is no legal basis to issue another opinion on, let's say, on fulfillment the conditions of law on the prevention of corruption. So you know very well that you will never get those certificates, and that's why you're pushing it in. This is a problem. It's not technically, it's not legally, it's basically, it's very clear.
Драго, звідки мені відомо?
Drago, how do I know that this check has been completed? And why do you say that I know that I will not get those certificates or confirmations from the office that the checks have been passed?
Because you have read the letter of Nazika when we started, you read it, you didn't want to read it. I had to ask you to read it because you didn't want to read it because you know what's in it. So you know perfectly well. So Nazika said there will be no second check. Now you're referring to the second check, which will never happen. That's exactly the point. So you are trying to let's say, to confuse all of us and the public with a very long resolution, but you're forgetting the small part, which will never enable the candidates to be submitted to the Prosecutor General's office. And I don't think there's any point to continue discussing it. We didn't support it.
Ще раз, будь ласка, Драго.
Once again, Drago, I'm asking you, please open the law on the prosecutor's office. It clearly states what submissions are made and after which steps. Only after the selection commission receives confirmation that the candidates comply with the law. Only.
You have received all the confirmations from the Prosecutor General's office already a month ago. Otherwise, they would not even qualify.
The article doesn't say that. I'm putting on vote a draft resolution. Roman, please specify once again. We have the law on the prosecutor's office. Roman, I suggest to support your draft, except for the items, I'm sorry, 14, except for 14 to remove items from 14, 15, 16. Katarina Koval, please vote in my edition, my draft with the suggestions of Mr. Roman. Please vote. Nona, Thomas, Navrotsky, Dragokos, and Roman Koibida. Not approved. Roman Koibida. But what prevents us from fulfilling our function? We need to approve this. There is no connection with submission. Romaniuk. We need to fulfill Article 8 of the law on the prosecutor's office. Why are we throwing it away? Katarina Koval can make a submission in violation of the law on the prosecutor's office. But we are lawyers, Roman Koibida. We need to approve the results. Romaniuk, yes, I'm voting in favor of approval. but we make an approval after the Article 8 is fulfilled. Roman Kobida. Bogdan Vasilyevich, you can see that we are disagreeing on the... We can't, Romanyuk, we can't break the law. You can violate the law if you want. Mr. Dragokos can violate the law because he is not in Ukraine. Katerina Koval, do we have Olena Busol? Yes, I mean, Romanyuk, we have the law. Drago, please.
Yeah, I have a suggestion. You see, since we all agree, there is no problem with results of our, let's say, with scores. Why wouldn't we split, Ms. Koval, your resolution into two? So the first one would end after the results, which means we approve all the results of all competitions, and we say, well, we have the winner, and then we vote for it. Then we have a second resolution on the submission of the names to the Prosecutor General. So maybe we will get at least one of them.
Я ще одну пропозицію. якщо
Будь
можна.
ласка.
Romanyuk, I have a suggestion. Please. Dear Commission members, let me tell you simply. For item 14, to say as follows, the Commission chairperson, so the candidacy of Alexander Klemenko, which was selected by the Selection Commission to the position of the head of the SAPO, the chairperson shall submit the candidacy for consideration of the Prosecutor General according to Part 2, Article 8 of on the Prosecutor's Office. And then we don't need item 15 and 16. Andrei Gujal, it doesn't change anything. We will have lesser text, but it doesn't find support because we are bypassing the law. How can we do this? Oh, Andrei Gujal, they don't care. Romanyuk, yes, if we do it for the public, yes, the public likes it because they don't know the legislation. And then tomorrow you will be the good guys and we... Katerina Koval, do you have any suggestions? Andrei Gujal, we need to postpone the meeting, then we get the results and we make a decision. Olena Busol, I suggest that we should have a good preparation because this is surreal. Andrei Gujal, I suggest that each commission member makes their own drafts. Item 14 should say that it should be in correspondence with the law, and then we don't need item 15, 16. And number 17, move to 15. Thomas, please.
Yes, I was just going to reiterate, it seems we've got complete agreement on the results of the competition. We have disagreement about the procedure for obtaining confirmation from the General Prosecutor's Office, which is embodied in 14, 15, 16 of the current resolution. Let's do exactly as Drago suggested. Let's, for today, agree to confirm the results of the competition and then come back to 14, 15, 16 separately, because that clearly requires some more discussion. But then we will at least come out of today and be able to say to society, we completed our test, we completed the vote, we affirmed the results of the competition. We're not binding anything beyond that at this point.
Томас, ми дякую.
Thomas, thank you sincerely. We have put on vote 2 times on the 21st. We voted 2 times for confirming the winner. we sent a letter to the Office of the Prosecutor General to give us the confirmation. We have invited a representative of the HR department. We have not received the response. We are not having a representative of the HR department. Due to this, we have postponed the voting because we didn't know how to act, how we are going to get this confirmation. We understand that we don't have support for this decision, and I prepared a draft resolution so that our colleagues should agree. We can vote on it, we can approve it, but we are submitting the candidacy according to Article 8.1 with the condition we are making a submission to the Prosecutor General for appointment if the Commission receives confirmation that the candidates conform with the law. They told me that I'm not authorized because we haven't confirmed the results. We can go to the office after we have the results. So I'm asking the office to give us the confirmation so that we will be able to confirm the results and confirm the resolution and send a submission. I have suggested a draft today to approve all the conclusions, and we make a submission. I want the Selection Commission to instruct me to make a submission upon the condition of this check, or upon the condition that we receive the confirmation. I'm sure that on Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, the office will give us the confirmation, and it will be signed by an authorized person according to Article 8.1 of the law on the prosecutor's office. Today, I don't see any problems that the office will not give us the confirmation. I'm sure we will get the information from the office that the candidates have passed the checks, that they don't have any observations, any comments regarding the candidates, and we will not have any basis not to approve the decision. We have voted for 3 additions, and we cannot come to a compromise. If you see any ways out, please make suggestions. Thomas, please.
Yes, I just wanted to go back to the point that Mr. Romaniuk raised. He proposed, as I understand it, removing 14, 15, 16, and replacing them with a reference to in compliance with, I believe it's Article 8.1 of the law on the General Prosecutor's Office. Is that correct? Could we just have him repeat that proposal? Maybe we could take a vote on that proposal. I think we might be able to agree on that.
Романюк.
Ви маєте на увазі
Do you mean,
проект пана Романюка?
Ні.
Ні, це була пропозиція Романюка.
Or was this Romaniuk? As far as I understand, Bogdan, please correct me if I'm wrong. So you meant to add some words to item 14. According to part 2 of the article 8.1 of the law on the prosecutor's office, and remove 15 and 16. Romaniuk, moreover, in item 14, we say that we instruct the chairperson of the commission, and then according to the text. Katarina Koval, you want to put the responsibility on me? Romaniuk, in accordance with the law on the prosecutor's office, Article 8. Katarina Koval, well, we are a collegial body, Romaniuk, to make a submission according to part 2 of Article 8 of the law. And I will sleep peacefully today because as a practicing lawyer, I have done what is necessary. Katarina Koval, not only 14, according to the suggestions from Mr. Roman as well. Romaniuk, this is what is important for me, item 14. We need to specify the position. Bogdan suggests to make an addition. I suggested to remove. We can add words to the 14, remove number 15 and 16. Katarina Koval, according to Romans suggestion. We are talking about the candidate. This is of Senyuk, and well, we can add them to Klimenko in the item 14, and it would be short and clear that we can make a submission on them. We can instruct the chairperson or not chairperson, but we need to refer to part 2 of the Article 8, and I will vote with my two hands. We can put it simply. We are making relevant submissions according to part 2 of Article 8.1 of the law on the prosecutor's office. Romaniuk, yes, that's good. I will vote for that.
Я законник, я не вмію такого.
I'm a lawyer. I'm not acting for the public. They have different perception. As far as I understand, we and Bogdan Vasilyevich, we have agreed to say in the item 14, we say that we make relevant submissions according to part 2, article 8 of the law, and remove the other points except for publication. And we have a supper. Thomas, please.
Yes, I was just going to suggest, why don't we put Mr. Romaniuk's proposal to a vote right now? And if we can't agree on that, it's clear we're not going to come to a resolution today. Hopefully, we will get a vote on that to approve the resolution. So let's just move straight to a vote on Mr. Romaniuk's proposal.
Які ще пропозиції є, колеги?
Катерина Коваль, any other suggestions?
Let's
Dear
go for
colleagues, shall we start the voting?
Yeah.
Roman, I want you to read. I will not repeat items 1 to 13. Can you read again items 14, 15, 16? Because for the protocol, we need to have them. Remove 15 and 16. And in the item 14, we add the surnames. Bogdan, we don't have only Klimenko. We have also two other candidates. Roman, you can agree. We can add their surnames. Katerina Koval, I can read the resolution again. And Roman can add his wording, taking into account Mr. Romaniuk's suggestions.
You don't have to read the whole resolution once again. Let's Roman just read new Article 14. That's it.
Сформулюйте, будь ласка, Роман.
Roman, please suggest your wording of item 14. So, because you insisted on 15 and 16. Roman Koibida, Mr. Romaniuk is correct. Item 14, 15, 16, we will change with one item to make relevant submissions according to Part 2, Article 8.1 of the law on the prosecutor's office. And that's it. Romaniuk, the law is the law.
Can we start voting?
Олена Ігорівна.
Та зараз Роман, щоб там...
Roman, please read 13, 14. Didn't you hear me? I have repeated this 10 times. Well, we need to hear it before the voting for the protocol. I'm sorry. Olena, are you connected? So, we are giving the floor to Mr. Koibida for the protocol. Item 14 as follows: to make relevant submissions according to the Article 8.1 of the law on the prosecutor's office. We remove 15 and 16, and then number 17 becomes number 15, and that's it. Great. Романюк. Katerina Koval, I'm putting this on vote. Please vote. Please vote for the draft resolution suggested by Ms. Koval, Mr. Koibida, and Mr. Romaniuk. Please vote. What about Buso? Ms. Secretary. Andrei Andreevich. Andrei Gujal, I'm not supporting this. Katerina Koval, the resolution has not been supported. Romaniuk, then we have to wait for Mr. Sobol. Andrei Gujal, item 9 provides for approval of the general ratings for the vacancies of the Deputy Prosecutor General. That's it. Our regulations say that we are approving ratings provided for by items 1 to 3 of the law. Busol, I have 2 minutes. Andrei Gujal says we need to work more on this resolution. We need to improve the resolution. We need to get relevant conclusions, and then we vote. Thank you. Vyacheslav Alexandrovich, please.
Не чути вас зовсім.
We cannot hear you. I'm in favor. I'm in favor. Yes, we understand. Because you have a lag. Drago, please.
Well, now we saw again who doesn't want to have a head of SAPO. Now, Mr. Romaniuk's proposal was a very good one. I cannot go into an individual voting here, but Mr. Romaniuk's proposal was really a good one, and I respect him for that. But he didn't get the support, so I don't think there's any. It doesn't make any sense to continue today because we will not make a decision. It's obvious who does not want to let's say to express the results of the competition. It is basically the same as they broke it the last time. So I suggest to stop here, and hopefully we will convene once again, if there will be an option.
Будь ласка, Томас.
Please, Thomas.
Yes, I agree. I think that, look, we've had a lot of differences over the last 15 months, including in our scoring of the candidates. But we agreed on a proposal. Both parts of our commission agreed on Mr. Romaniuk's proposal. Ms. Busel also supported it. If we can't come to agreement on that, then I don't know what the point of this is anymore. That was an extremely reasonable proposal, which simply obliged compliance with the law, something that nobody can be against. If we can't agree on that, then I don't know what it is.
А якщо Соболь буде, то проголосує, то буде голосувати?
What if we have Mr. Sobol and he approves this? We would have enough votes. Katerina Koval, I suggested my own suggestion. I took into account all the suggestions to have a compromise. We have a suggestion from Andrei Gujal to postpone the meeting, to get the response from the Office of the Prosecutor General, and then vote again. Andrei Gujal, we need to change item 9 because it covers only one position, which is in the item 1, but our regulations says another thing. We have general rating for items 1 to 3. Ms. Nona, please.
I'll be brief. I did not say anything today, but
I was following closely all the discussions, and I'm really stunned with all the formalism you followed, and I'm deeply sorry that behind this formalism, the whole substance of the issue is overlooked. Unfortunately, I see no way out. There were too many proposals, and I think some of them could be supported in order to get through all this, and finally to make the decision Commission should make. So, and I also very much regret that what I see now is that Commission Chair you have your own interpretation of the law, and you can't accept anything else. And I deeply regret with this rigidity of interpretation of the law. We may don't know Ukrainian law, but what we hear here has nothing to do with common sense. I'm sorry to be that direct. So I think that we should stop here and let us to have at least some time to spend with our families during this very important day for some of our members. And let's finish here.
Пані Нона, я прошу вибачення,
Miss Nona, I'm sorry. I supported my own suggestion with the amendments from Mr. Koibida and Romaniuk. So please don't blame me because this is not the case. Thomas, please. I have found a compromise. I suggested a compromise resolution, but each commission member has one vote, and they can support or not support a decision. I did what I could. Thomas, please.
Yes, I'm going to be brief also, and this will be the last thing I say today. We were set up, this commission was set up to combat corruption. We have allowed this hyper-formalism and technical interpretation of law to turn us from a commission combating corruption into a commission that is an obstacle to combating corruption. We've been here for 15 months. We can't choose someone. I don't know why this has gone on so long. A presidential election in the United States. I don't know why it takes 300 million people can elect a president in 13 months or 12 months, and we can't elect a single prosecutor in 15 months. Thank you very much. I wish everyone a Merry Christmas. Goodbye.
And Merry Christmas to all. And yeah, I will also leave. Thank you so much.
дякую, до побачення.
До побачення.
Thank you. Thank you. Goodbye. Goodbye to everybody. I wish you Merry Christmas.